What's up, guys? It's McNulty here. Welcome back to the channel. So we have some big news today. The Dynasty of Dunes has just dropped upon us, and we have new costumes available for the Season 5 heroes. If you can believe it, we actually have costumes for the Season 5 heroes. I'm still a little bit stunned by this, but we've got to have a look at these heroes, and we've got to see what they've done with the costumes. So we're going to jump right into the portal, and we'll see who is there. So let's have a look. Starting off, we have Hathor, we have Ma'at, lovely ladies, and Anubis, who looks like Anubis. Is it a she? I don't know, but whatever it is, he looks like he's ready to do the hula dance. So we've got to have a look at these heroes today. Let's start off with Hathor. Just looking dope. I do like the background that they've done for this one with the sandstorms instead of the whatever you call those things. So Hathor has been pretty much a staple healer for the Season 5 heroes. Probably the best hero in Season 5 as far as healers are concerned, next to Cleopatra. A very close one between the two of them, but a really great hero. So let's see what they've done with her costume. So we'll switch over. She's now of the cleric class. She was a sorcerer, probably a better class overall because of the talent that she gets, where she gets the mana shield, so she gets to resist negative mana effects and effects that prevent the use of special skills. It's a great class for healers. So yeah, she's definitely the right class now in this new costume. She is still of the same family, so the Moon family, so she gets a chance to cast negative defense and the water damage over 2 turns on any enemy that deals special skill damage to the character. So that's a decent bonus. And then the passive, which is the boost, the chance to boost the health of all allies by 10%, and to give all allies a small amount of mana. That's a 50% chance, but if you look down just below that, there is this 100% passive thing that's now just appeared out of nowhere. And interestingly, this, if you click on it, it says that when the character casts her special skill, any of their passive skills that grant extra effects on cast are guaranteed to activate. So that means that this passive, with the 50% chance to boost the health of all allies by 10%, is going to activate 100% of the time, which is awesome. And I guess they needed to include that little thing on there, but I just think that is insanely good, because you're going to be guaranteed that 10% health boost every time she casts her special. So I love that passive. She's also got this secondary passive here that we haven't seen before, which is a resistance against mana generation stopping. So she now has an innate resistance against status elements that stop mana generation. Again, just an extremely good passive. It's kind of doubling up on the class bonus for this hero, but it's just another way that she's going to be immune to negative mana effects, which is awesome. The costume bonuses for these heroes, pretty good attack, defense, health, and mana bonuses. So it's 13% on the attack and defense, 21% increase on the health, and a 5% mana bonus. So maybe a bit lower than we've seen in the other portals, but it is in line with how much they should be increased, since these are some of the newer heroes in the game. I mean, Untold Tale's a bit newer, but still, they're pretty damn new. Now let's look at the actual stats. So if we switch the max power preview, we can see she's running a team power of 955, which is very respectable. 870 on the attack, 907 on the defense, and 1943 on the health. So very good stats, and it's good that she's defensively built because it makes her more survivable. Not a huge change around from the original costume, which is 874, 898, and 1948. Still defensively built hero, which is what you want from a healer like this. Now, let's move over to the special. So her old special was Motherly Care, and she used to boost the health of all allies by 480, which is massive because we love boosted health. I'm an absolute, I love boosted health. I think it just really helps you so much. I can't stress that enough. And then all allies being immune to new status ailments for 4 turns was just insane as well. So now moving over to Motherly Love. This time she's still running at fast speed, but now all allies regenerate 640 boosted health over 4 turns. Now, in a way, this is worse because it's a regen, so it takes some time for that boosted health to kick in. But in another way, and I'm not sure why she's disappearing all the time, she's a bit shy today. In another way, it's actually better, because if there is an effect that counters boosted health, the health regen over time is going to be a counter to that in and of itself. The health regen is not going to increase with the limit breaks and emblems, so 640 over 4 turns. Not sure what that is. It's less than 200, but you can increase that with bonuses from troops, and you can increase that with bonuses from emblems as well. So I would recommend doing that wherever you get the chance for this hero. Probably going to be able to get up to about 200 per turn on the boosted health. So yeah, it's not 480 at one big boost, which is a bit of a disappointment, but I think it's still good. And then all allies are still immune to new status ailments for 4 turns. So I mean, I'm hard pressed to decide sorry guys, I'm hard pressed to decide which of these two heroes is actually better. I do like the ether talent, the defense up. I do like that for her. I don't think attack up as an ether talent for a healer hero is really going to be giving you that much. So I would say, yeah, I'm a fan of the costume version. I kind of wish that boosted health would have been up front, but you know what? It's okay. We can deal with that because the main thing is that ailment protection. So yeah, an absolutely amazing costume for her. Just love the stat boost. I really love the passive because that guaranteed to boost the health by an extra 10%. In fact, that actually makes up for the other. I forgot about that passive bit. So she's going to boost the health of all allies by 10% as well, and give the small amount of mana guaranteed in the costume version, which you don't get in the original. So yeah, just an insanely good hero. I love Hathor. Now, moving on, we're going to go with Ma'at as the second hero. So she's also got her costume, and she's got, just look at all of these passives. That's just like 5 different bonuses that you're getting, plus the ether talent. This is just insane. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm a fan of her costume. I mean, her original costume, I mean, she just looks insanely nice there. I won't say too much more, otherwise I get myself in trouble. But yeah, I'm not sure she could do without the face paint and all the rest of the stuff that's going on. She's still an insanely good looking hero though. So let's see what the differences are. So she gets the same costume bonus. She has had a class change from a rogue to a paladin. Not sure I'm a huge fan of that. The paladin gives her that talent, which is a chance to protect, to give 25% defense increase for 2 turns after receiving damage. But that compared to the chance to dodge, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the talent class switch. Her family bonus for the Sun family is a chance to cast Burn, 35% chance to cast Burn upon receiving special skill damage. That is probably not going to trigger with the passive, but we'll see if that works the same. And the secondary passive is a 50% chance to deal 70% damage to all enemies. So I love that because it stacks on top of her original damage, and that can trigger off quite a lot at 50% chance. Now, what is this 3 times passive? Extra chance for effects on special skill. So when she casts her special skill, any of her passive skills that grant extra effects on that cast have 3 chances to activate. Man, that could be pretty damn powerful. If I understand that, it means that it's got 3 chances to activate a passive skill that grants effects on cast, which would be this one over here. So there's a chance for her to perform this extra damage up to three times. So I'm assuming that means that she could be dealing a whopping amount of extra damage on her special skill cast. We'll have to see how that works in practice. That sounds incredibly good to me. Pretty overpowered, if I'm totally honest. And then the mana on health boosting special skill. So she gains 5% mana each time an enemy casts a special skill that directly boosts health. Sorry. This could be great used alongside Hathor. I mean, if you get both costumes, yeah, just undefeatable. Boosted health, mana gain everywhere, 3 times passive, plus the costume bonuses. Just great all around. Now, in terms of stats, 933, 951, 1869 for a quite respectable team power of 979. That's a lot of team power. So yes, stats are going through the roof for Ma'at. Comparatively, they are very balanced. Again, slightly more defensively built, which is always cool because of the survivability, but she is a damage dealer. So let's have a look at her special. So her old special was Bringer of Order, running at fast speed, dealing 195% damage to all enemies. All enemies get negative 34% defense for 3 turns. All fire enemies get negative 24% attack for 3 turns. Really good, fast speed, hits all, negative defense down. You couldn't really want that much more. So let's see what more we could have wanted. So it's Protector of the Blue River now, running at fast speed, and now she's dealing 220% damage instead of 195 to all enemies. All enemies now get negative 35% defense for 3 turns instead of 34%. So an increase on the defense down. I know it's only 1%, but that's pretty cool. And then a reduction in the fire enemies' reduced attack from 24% down to 20%, which is, I mean, if there was anything that they were going to reduce, that would be it. So I'm not mad at that. This is an insanely good costume. So far, I'm much happier with the Season 5 costumes than I was with the Season 4 ones. And I think the additions of the passives and the extra chances and things like that, they are making these heroes to where they're going to be more relevant in terms of the meta and going up against these monsters that we are seeing at the tops of the raid leaderboards and things like that. Now, Anubis. I was surprised, actually, to see Anubis, because Anubis is probably one of the newer heroes, so it's strange that they would start with Anubis. But he, as I can see, is now gone from being a sorcerer to a fighter, which is awesome because he gets the chance to revive. He is of the Moon family as well, so we've gone over this already with the negative defense and water damage. He gets the same costume bonuses, so we won't go over those again. The passive is a 60% chance for this guy to deal 70% damage to all enemies and to dispel the latest dispellable buffs. I love that passive. That's probably one of the best passives for the Moon family heroes. And then he also gets this 100% guaranteed passive trigger when he casts his special skill. So that 70% damage and that dispel is going to trigger every time that he casts. So he's a dispeller now. You know, no ifs, ands, or buts, no 60% chance. It's 100% chance for that passive to trigger. And his secondary passive is that he gains 5% mana when he receives a status ailment or a negative stack. You know what? It's cool, but I don't really like that as much as the one that activates on buffs. I'd rather not be receiving negative stacks and status ailments if I can help it. So it's all about trying to protect yourself against those things. But if he does happen to get them, he could be boosting himself up to where he's ready to fire off. Now, in terms of stats, Anubis, oh my goodness, where have you gone, mate? 984. On the team power, so 925, 951, and 1928. Again, more defensively built. I mean, that's carrying along the theme through all of these heroes. So let's have a look at his special. So it was the Mark of Anubis, and it's now the Mark of the Jackal. So the Mark of Anubis, he inflicts the target with greed for 3 turns. Enemies with greed prevent other enemies from receiving friendly effects of their allies' special skills. It's a good skill, and I thought it was going to be a lot more effective than it actually is in practice, because you just kind of be wary about how you're using your special skills. It just prevents you from healing, from giving defense up, from giving attack up, from giving any friendly effects for the following 3 turns, which in most cases you can kind of wait out and survive a little bit. It doesn't prevent you from firing off your special skills or anything like that. All enemies did receive 564 poison damage over 3 turns and got negative 34% defense for 3 turns. So actually really pretty, not that great, actually. I was going to say pretty good, but I wasn't a huge fan of Anubis in practice. I was a massive fan of him upon his release, and I talked him up. But he's one of those heroes that really did fall a little bit short of the mark in terms of his special. Let's see what's going on here. So he inflicts the target with greed for 3 turns. Enemies with greed prevent other enemies from receiving friendly effects of their allies' special skills. Same effect for the initial one. And then all enemies now get 693 poison damage. Now, the poison damage, I believe, will increase. Yes, it does. Okay, that is a lot of poison damage. 933 poison damage over 3 turns. And then all enemies get negative 28% defense for 3 turns. One cool thing about this hero is that he kind of makes it so that you can't cleanse because of the greed effect. So that is classed, I believe, as a friendly effect. So you can't cleanse that poison damage off. It's just going to keep hitting you. And 933 poison damage over 3 turns is a lot. It can take out a massive amount of health, if not all of your remaining health, over the following 3 turns, and you can't get rid of it. So for that reason, I think this costume is pretty damn good. It's definitely better than the original version in all ways, in terms of the class and in terms of all of the passives that he gets. The damage for this guy is really not as big of an effect, but I do like the dispel on the special skill. I think that if that dispel of the latest dispellable buff triggers before he casts the poison damage on the hero and greed on the hero, that this is going to be a really tricky hero to deal with. So yeah, congrats if you do manage to grab any of these 3 costumes. I think you'll be doing pretty well, whether you get Hathor, Anubis, or Ma'at. I would say probably my favorite is Hathor, followed in a very, very close second by Ma'at, and then Anubis there at the end. So I wish you guys all of the best of luck if you are going to be dropping a few pulls in this portal. Good luck. Hopefully you do manage to grab one of the featured heroes. Please do drop us a like and subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss any future videos, and let me know what you think of the new season 5 costumes. And that is pretty much it for now. So until the next time, I'll see you all again in the next video. Bye for now, guys.